is Sherica Hymes, and I am the founder and host of the Total Woman Summit. And let me tell you, we are smack dab in the middle of our 11 days, 26 speakers, 22 sessions of our virtual workshop series. It has been amazing, and today is our finale. And I am super excited. We have had such a wonderful time. We have heard from all the experts. We have all the topics. We have discussed everything. We have left no topic undiscussed, no matter, no concern unaddressed. We have had the experts addressing everything that has been impacted by COVID-19, aka life interrupted. And as far as I'm concerned, there was no better way for us to wrap up this series than to hear from our next generation, because after all, whatever decisions we are making today, they are the ones that are going to inherit the fruits of our labor or the consequences of our decisions. And so we want to hear directly from our next generation. We have with us today Kelsey Morgan, and we also have with us Trinity Chism. Kelsey Morgan, listen, Kelsey is all things athletic superstar. She's all things academic superstar. She is all things just living her best life. She is a young woman who is serious about her future, knows where she is going, and is a force to be reckoned with. And then we have with us Trinity Chism, who is a graduating senior, the class of 2020 of the of the White Station, I did on purpose, of the White Station High School. I get y'all woke up this morning. So she is graduated. She is a singer. She is an academic. She is a cheerleader, not just like one of these Rudapoo cheerleaders, honey. I'm talking about traveling to competitions cheerleaders. Trinity is all things amazing, and she is headed off to Oglethorpe University this fall, where she is going to be, I'm gonna let her tell her own story. Why am I doing all the talking? For those of you that are new to the Total Woman Summit experience, the summit was created to empower women through education, connection, and community. And that's what we've been doing these last 11 days. Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Kelsey Morgan and Trinity Chism. Hi, Kelsey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Did I do you justice in your introduction?
You did. I loved it.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kelsey.
Well, my name is Kelsey Morgan. I go to Houston High School. I'm turning 16 in 2 weeks, and I'm a triplet.
You're a triplet? You one of 3 babies?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, child. What you got, sisters or brothers?
I have 2 brothers.
Where did you come out? Which one? Were you first, second, or third?
I was actually the last one.
You're the baby of the family.
But I run them. I always
She runs the world. So you took what Beyonce said seriously. Who run the world?
Of course.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for joining us today on this Saturday. You look beautiful. And you all may notice that Kelsey has on her, stand up a little bit, Kels, flex your shirt. Kelsey is the next generation ambassador for the Total Woman Summit, and she is rocking her Next Gen Initiative shirt. So thank you so much. We're so proud to have her represent us. And then we have you heard what I said, the Trinity Chism, class of 2020. How are you, Trinity?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Did I do you good on your introduction, Trinity?
You did. I couldn't have done it better myself.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So as you said, I am a senior at White Station High School and incoming freshman at Oglethorpe University. I intend to major in communications with a minor in African American studies, and I can't wait to go to Atlanta and experience all that it has to offer.
That is so awesome. These young ladies are super dope. I am giving you guys a hand clap. You make me proud. You make me so very proud. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping and level setting. So first of all, we need somebody that is in our listening audience to tell us if you can hear and see Trinity, Kelsey, and myself okay. You gonna drop that in chat? They said yes, so we are off to a good start. And then I just want to set a couple of rules. So the number one, we're gonna have a lot of fun today. We are here to laugh, talk, chat. If you have to shed a few tears, get your Kleenex. I got mine. Make sure you get your hydration. Okay? They have their hydration and their Kleenex. People say I make people cry. I don't know why. I think it's because they be laughing. But also, you're talking to us and we're talking to you. So if you have questions for these young ladies, drop them in the Q&A or in the chat. If you have some good feedback on something that they have said, drop it in the chat so we can see it. We want to encourage them throughout the way. And I need a commitment from each one of you. You have to stay on until we say the absolute last word, until we say our goodbyes, because we have a surprise at the end. And you don't want to miss it. So let's get to it, ladies. We've been talking the last 10 days. This workshop series has been going on, and you all have had the opportunity to listen to some of these. So let's get into it. Let's talk about, we started off with faith. You both had the opportunity to either listen to Pastor Diane Young or to listen to Pastor Felicia Wade, and we talked about COVID-19 and our faith and how it was rocking our faith foundation. Why don't you give me your feedback on who you, and tell us who you listened to, and then give us your feedback on that.
Okay, so I'll go. Okay, so the very first one that I listened to was Pastor Felicia. So I think what I took away the most with being a senior during this pandemic was definitely when she was talking, somebody I believe asked live time, you know, is it okay to question God during this pandemic? And I feel like that I took that away the most, because during all of this, it's easy to become anxious and nervous about what's the next move and what's the next chapter. And I found myself really questioning God, like, what is going on? You know, this is supposed to be my year, my opportunity to really be celebrated for everything that I've accomplished. And so it's shown me not only that it's okay to question God, but it's okay to kind of rest in Him and know that everything will come together at the end, because everything will work for my good. And so it has really taught me to just sit down, relax, and know that God is going to take care of me.
Wow. Wow. That's so good and so honest. Thank you. What about you, Kels? Who did you listen to from the faith segment?
So I also listened to Pastor Felicia as well, and kind of piggybacking off of what Trinity said, God is in control, point blank, period. As long as you keep your faith and keep your hope, everything should be good.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Were you guys a little bit anxious? Have you been upset? I know, Trinity, you mentioned this is your senior year. We're supposed to be celebrating you. You're supposed to go to prom. You're supposed to go on your senior trip. You're supposed to be flexing as the kings and queens of the school because you're on your way out. And you lost all of that. Was your faith rocked during this time?
I for sure had my doubts. You know, I spent some time shedding some tears because, you know, I am human at the end of the day. But one thing that I had to remember was that, you know, I have parents and I have, you know, it takes a village. So I have people around me, surrounding me, constantly, you know, sending me cards in the mail that have tried to make this as normal as possible. So even though I've had my doubts, I have not lost my faith that something good is going to come out of this. So I think that's something that I've really been trying to continue to do, for sure.
What about you, Kels? Has your faith been rocked throughout this? Have you been questioning God at any time?
In my opinion, I think I've gotten closer to God. This has really given me a time to focus on my faith rather than something else, because I know when I'm at school and I'm doing all of these other extra activities, my focus is somewhere else and it's not with God. So now that I'm, you know, with my family, I get to pray, or I get to have dinner at the table with my family and pray.
Wow, wow. These children dropping all this this knowledge. People, get your life, okay? They helping us. They're going to get their own show, okay? So Tuesday, day 2, we talked about mental health and maintaining your sanity during this time. Who did you listen to, Trinity, from that day?
I'm trying to remember.
Was it Dr. Massey? Was it Dr. Anderson?
I believe it was Dr. Massey.
Okay.
I feel like for me, being a senior, mental health was very important. And I feel for mental health, it was more important for me to check on my fellow classmates who weren't in homes, with the village around them, because they were having a lot of issues at the beginning with trying to keep themselves sane. And, you know, I know there are students who are in homes where they don't have people encouraging them every day. So that was very important to me, that, you know, I checked in on them and checked in on my sister and my brother to make sure that they were okay during this time. And I tried to really uplift people because that helps me with my mental health to stay in check as well. So that was one
Well,
thing.
that is so good. What was one of the things that you took away from what Dr. Massey had to say that made you think about how you care for your own self mentally?
So for me, I what I started doing was like in my notes section on my phone, I started journaling kind of like how I was feeling every day, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't kind of balling it up inside. Um, it took me a minute to kind of realize that it was okay to release, and it was okay to cry, and it was okay to be able to honestly just kind of embrace what was going on. So I took a minute, and I talked, of course, with my mom and my dad, but I kind of did it for myself. I started kind of journaling how I felt every day to make sure that I was, okay in the end, for sure.
Wow. And I'm sorry, Kelsey, you mentioned that you've gotten closer to God during this time, and that and so how you listen to who on that day, Dr. Massey or Dr. Angela Anderson?
I listened to Dr. Massey as well.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
well, I just wanted to say, like, I also learned that mental health is important. Like, you have to work on your mental health. And in order to do that, you have to take a break and rest. And that's important. You cannot just sleep. You have got to rest. That's like one of the most important things you have to do for your mental health.
Rest. Have you had to take a step back and get you some rest during this time, Kelsey?
Yes. I mean, because I have to learn that it's okay not to be okay. So I have to rest. I have to give myself a break.
It's okay to not be okay. They're giving us a whole life lesson out here. Dr. Massey is on here. I bet she is so proud. I bet she is so proud right now. That is good. Rest. And she gave us an acronym for rest. Dr. Massey, drop that in here. What's the acronym for rest? Because I don't remember. So drop it in the notes section. She said, work on your mental health, take a break and rest, give myself a break. That is so good. And so then we talked COVID-19, and we're not going to do every day, but there were some core ones that they listened to really be able to give us feedback about, their thoughts about COVID-19. So there was a COVID. We had the doctors on. We had Dr. Carla London. We had Dr. Naika Parks. We had Dr. Teresa Woodard. So tell us about that. You guys listened to which one of those episodes?
I listened to Dr. Carla, I believe.
Okay. What did you learn from that, and what did you walk away with?
So I didn't know that COVID-19 had been around all of this time, and that this is just a new form of it. I think my biggest takeaway was that for sure we just need to keep ourselves clean, and just remind each other to keep ourselves clean. And it was so amazing and so surprising in a way to see how many people weren't doing that, how many people weren't washing their hands, how many people weren't necessarily just taking that time for themselves to keep their bodies clean. Even the thing with the steam and the steam in your face kind of healing you. And I think it was important for anyone listening in to realize that after this is over, we need to make sure that we keep ourselves clean and remind others to keep themselves clean as well.
Wow. What about you, Kels? Who did you listen to, Dr. Woodard or Naika and Dr. Carla?
I listened to Dr. Carla and Dr. Naika.
Naika? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I listened to both of them as well, and I learned that you could even have it, and the symptoms can be serious, fatal, or you couldn't have any symptoms at all. And I did not know that. I did not know that. I thought they were just like normal flu symptoms. And COVID-19 actually stands for like coronavirus. So the CO stands for corona, the VI, virus, D, disease, and the year started in 2019. I had no idea where COVID-19 originated from. So it's
Wow.
like something new every single day.
I love it. I love it. This is so good. You guys are so great. I love y'all so much. And I'm biased, but I love them so much. And so then, who else did you guys listen to? What else did you guys listen to? Probably the politics of the pandemic, right? Yeah, I want to save that. We're going to just put a pause on that for a minute. But this entire COVID-19, have you guys been like anxious and scared and fearful? I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day who's twice your age, literally, plus add a few years. And she said to me that she has been terrified and paranoid. What have you guys been experiencing with this? I know we're doing the quarantine, isolation, physical distancing. What has been your experience, Trinity?
So for me, I've found myself being okay with being home because I don't want to be out in the midst of everything. I would say it's more of anxiety than fear, for sure. Like going to the store and you're kind of extra normally it's like, oh, I'm going to smile at this person. I'm going to be, approachable. But now it's like, I'm not trying to catch anything. So there's definitely been some anxiety, some heightened anxiety than normal, for sure, with being around other people, which is something that I normally would love to do. So that's for sure something I've
Wow. And I know that you and your family are extremely close. How have you been handling not seeing some of your friends and extended family members? Let's focus on family. We'll do friends later. On your family.
So that's been really hard, and I didn't realize it was that hard until my great-grandmother recently turned 101 last week, and we did a parade, and just seeing all my family again, it almost made me emotional a little bit, because I was like, gosh, I haven't seen these people in so long, and you're used to seeing them, almost every week, if not every day. And so I didn't realize how hard that had hit me, just, the whole sense of gathering and community that's really big to me. And I didn't realize that, that was something that I need with being such a people person. So.
Your great-grandmother turned 101?
She did, yes.
I think Kelsey and I had the exact same response. What? That is amazing. Happy birthday. What do you guys call her? Gigi, Granny?
We call her Medea.
Happy birthday, Medea. That is amazing. A whole century plus one. Oh, the stories she could tell. We got to talk to her about what she thinks about this COVID-19. Okay. All right. Kelsey. So how has this been for you? What have been your thoughts about COVID-19? What have you experienced with the social distancing, the physical distancing, some of the isolation and all of that? Like, what has that been like for you?
To begin with, I never took it as serious until I started to see it firsthand. Me and my mom, we would go out on walks and people are trying to stay away from us. It's serious. You have to social distance. You have to. And it didn't really hit me until 2 weeks in, because I'm just like, oh, I can always see my friends again, or I can always meet up. I can't. My friends' parents might not let them go see me because I might be a carrier, and I could give it to them and I wouldn't even know, and they wouldn't even know. So it's super, super serious. And that hit me late.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it is tough, right? Because I'm very sociable. And I'm so used to calling my friends. We're like, hey, let's meet up. We're going to grab a meal. Let's kick it. We're going out. We're going here. And I remember I saw Nunu the other day. Nunu, for those of you out that don't know, is Trinity's mom. We went to high school together. We graduated, walking across the stage together. But she is officially known as Dr. Shawanda Jones Chism, okay? And she was on here Wednesday talking to us about education and what parents can expect. But we saw each other the other day, and we went to embrace, and I had on masks and gloves, and I was like, oh, we can't. And she said, that's right, we can't hug. It was so weird, because I'm a hugger. And I've seen my parents, but I've seen them from afar in full PPE. It's been crazy weird. Have you guys gone out in the last couple of days since the world reopened?
I haven't.
they are serious about these rules, okay? They like forget phase one. Y'all phase one. What phase are y'all going? What phase are y'all getting into? Phase two, phase three, phase later? Which one y'all doing? They're not sure. They serious. They like, not today, COVID. Not today, Satan. Not today. Okay. So you guys also listen to what, the politics of the pandemic? Who'd you listen to? Tawan Stout Mitchell, or did you listen to Senator Katrina Robinson?
I listened to Miss Mitchell.
Okay, what were your thoughts on that? We talked the politics of the pandemic with Tawan.
So one thing that kind of gave me clarity was the whole like governor versus mayor and like reopening the city, and how depending on what jurisdiction it's in, you know, somebody higher up, they can open and kind of overrule one person. And so I think people kind of need to understand that even though some things are opening, or you still need to abide by the rules that your state has, you know, ordained, what have you. And even though we have someone higher up telling us it's time to open back up because, you know, the economy and stuff, we still need to make sure that, you know, we pay attention to what, you know, I think it was Nashville, Memphis, and Chattanooga were given exemptions on being able to stay in this particular phase. But we need to make sure that even though someone higher up is saying, you know, go ahead and open, we need to make sure, okay, we need to make sure that we are abiding by the rules and that we are still staying safe during this time.
Wow. What about you, Kels? Who'd you listen to, Ms. Tawan, or did you listen to Senator Robinson?
I listened to Senator Robinson.
Tell me about your thoughts about that conversation.
Well, to begin with, I really liked what she said about having support from people that look like her. So I know off the bat that she looks like me and I look like her. And I love that so much. I had to write it down. Like, I got it written down right here.
Come on, notes.
I do have notes. And I remember she mentioned that money is politics and that we do have to go out and vote, and that we are the swing vote, and that we have to be empowered and we have to go vote. It's important that we go vote, and that we voting is the best way to get involved.
Wow. Wow, ladies, let me tell you something. If you're not signed up for the Summit newsletter, you want to, because the conversation that we had yesterday with Tawan Mitchell, who is a political correspondent and advisor and retired politician, and sitting Senator Katrina Robinson, those were so enlightening. I think Kelsey is the one that said that money is politics. Senator Robinson said that and really helped us understand what she meant by that. And then Mr. Wan talked about you can be a committee of one and why we have to get involved. And I think there's no more important time for these young ladies to know that than right now at the beginning of their young adulthood, as they're walking into the fullness of who they're going to be, understanding their power. Now, I saved this one for last on purpose. So Wednesday, we talked about homeschooling versus learning at home. And I know for a fact that neither of your mothers have decided to homeschool. Okay, so you guys do not fall into that category. You fall into the learning at home, even Trinity, because even though her mom is an educator. So tell me about what this learning at home has been like, Kelsey.
Learning at home is a different experience than being at school and being in a classroom desk, but I do feel like it's easier because I can get my work done and I can approach it in a different way. I don't have to worry about any other students being distracting, or I don't have to worry about the teacher getting on for any misbehavior. I feel like learning at home might be a little bit better than learning at school.
Wow. Well, now, Kelsey, is anybody grading this work?
No.
Well, now, Kelsey, listen. Now, I understand you're able to do the work, but if nobody's grading the work, are you, because I know now Kelsey has this statement, which I think is amazing and prolific, okay? This is Kelsey's statement. This is a Kelseyism. Right? Make sure you capture this in chat. I'm sorry, I forgot to say, we have my good friend Gwendolyn, who is navigating the chat for us. That's where all these great notes are coming from. She is amazing. Thank you, Gwendolyn. So Kelsey said to me that she does not believe that grades measure your intelligence. She believes that grades actually measure your work ethic. Tell us about that, Kelsey.
I feel like when students like me or students like Trinity, when we get a bad grade, we feel discouraged, like we're not smart enough for the material. And I feel like your work ethic, that just it is measured on how you apply yourself. I feel like if you apply yourself and you tell yourself that you can actually do the work, you would be surprised at what you get in return.
Wow. A whole nugget from a whole 15, soon to be 16-year-old. You heard. What do you think about that, Trinity? What are your thoughts about grades and the measurement of your ability or your intellect or your work ethic? And what are your thoughts in general? You may not share the same opinions of Kelsey.
So, like, as you all know, I go to White Station High School where everyone is achieving highly academically. My high GPA might be someone else's low GPA at my school. So, you know, as far as academics are concerned, I learned from an early age with going through the White Station High School system that grades are not a reflection of how smart I am. Grades are not a reflection of what I can do, nor are they a reflection of who I am as a person. And sometimes I feel like at a school that is so academically challenging and so rigorous, like White Station, sometimes they focus so much on you are a number, you are a grade, you are a statistic. But I think it's important for students to realize that they're way more than a statistic, because their ABCDF does not equate to who they are as a person, what they have to say. And I just feel like if we focus on that more, and we focus more on students learning how to communicate with each other and learning how to be more approachable and learning how to walk into a room and use their intellect to really heighten someone else's, I feel that people will excel higher and people will do better in school, because when you are doing what you need to do, when you are doing what your ministry is, what you're gifted to do, you're gonna do better anyway in school. So that's how I personally feel.
Wow, that is so enlightening. And the fact that, your friends by and large feel like this too?
All the time.
Yeah.
That is something for us to really consider as adults. That is something for us to really consider. And now let me say this caveat. Both of them are high achievers. Both of them are honor students, okay? So they reserve the right to say this. They are not the slackers. So while they don't subscribe to the belief that the grades measure their intellect, they are actually working the system. And they both have very high academics, okay? And in fact, Kelsey is over here a Latin scholar. Why Latin, Kels?
Well, I have to shout out my Latin teacher, Miss Stewart. She made me love Latin. She made it so easy. You know, when people look at Latin, they're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's so much. It's so much more simple than it really is." And look, I just love it. It's a passion. Know.
Can you tell us something? Can you tell us something in Latin?
Well, Latin is kind of like I don't want to say a dead language, so I kind of can't speak it, but I could write some things down in Latin for you.
All right, then we'll write something in Latin for us in the chat then, okay, before we go. All right.
Okay. All right.
And she's right, Latin is a dead language, so it's rarely spoken. It really is a written language. What's your favorite subject, Trinity?
Either history or English.
Why? Why history and why English?
I like history because, you know, they say if you don't know your past, you'll repeat it or what have you. But it you know, we've kind of turned it into a cliche, but it's honestly true. A lot of times sometimes when you are Black and brown, sometimes you got to know your facts. You got to know your history. You got to know your information. And so I feel like that'll help me for sure. I'm even minoring in a history. So for sure that I think that's a passion of mine, to really just know what happened and why is it happening again.
Wow, that is so awesome. Hold on, let me pause. Hey, Gwendolyn is typing all of these good notes, and I just realized you guys couldn't see them because she's typing them to me in the panelist. So, Gwendolyn, we need you to copy and paste all of your notes and change your settings to the panelists and all attendees, so they will get them as well. All right, perfect. And go back to the top and do that. So she'll do that so you guys will have the notes. Why didn't nobody tell me y'all couldn't see the notes I was referring to? Shady crowd on a Saturday. So let's talk about how we've been handling homeschooling. How do you feel like the adults have handled the homeschooling? And just for the record, this is about what they feel about how we as adults have handled all of these things. So we're going to get to any of them. So if we step on your toes, just say ouch or move your feet, which never. This is not a personal attack against you or the school district or anything that we talk about. This is their time to use their voice. Okay, go ahead. What are your thoughts about how we've handled the homeschooling situation as adults?
So I think for some students are just turning in work and not really learning. Some students are being piled on with work. I know I'm not, because I have all my credits, but I know for some students, they've been getting more work than they do on a regular school day, because I guess since they're home, people feel like they have the time to do it. So I think for some students, they're in an environment that might not be conducive to the learning that they need. Mm-hmm. So they can't really learn at the highest level that they would normally be able to understand material. And I think it's come to a point where it's just kind of like rote memorization, or nobody's really grasping information. It's more of, okay, this assignment is due at this time, let me turn it in. And so I think that's a problem. And I feel like there might be a disconnect come fall, because there will be a whole mist of units that people have missed because they're just trying to turn something in rather than actually learning the material.
Wow. What about you, Kels?
So I know I said that homeschooling or, distance learning could be better than being in the classroom, but like Trinity said, there's always going to be some cons. And I do agree with her totally. Students are just trying to get by, and I know one friend told me, she was just like, what are they going to do? Because I don't have to turn in my work. So I feel like from a parent's point of view, you kind of have to take it a little bit more serious, because come fall, there might be a disconnect. You might have missed something during April or May.
Wow. Well, we learned on Wednesday while we were talking about education that after spring break, the educators typically use that time just as a review period for students. And so, because you're typically getting ready for testing, for standardized testing. And so, how have you guys felt about not having to participate in the standardized testing this year?
So for me, I have AP exams next Monday and Wednesday. So I've had to listen in on to YouTubes every week to get ready for testing. And now as far as senior class testing, I haven't had any of those because none of my classes had a test. But I know other students who've had tests, and they're really anxious and they're really worried that they missed something, because even though this is a period of time for review, some teachers, they might have, skipped over a lesson, and, there's some where they might have skipped over this lesson and be like, oh, we'll get to it later type deal. And so, I know a lot of people have been anxious and fearful that they won't be ready for the test. I don't necessarily feel that way, because I feel that my teachers have prepared me while I was in school, but for sure, I'm praying for those students that are in those regular classrooms and they didn't necessarily get all the information that they need for the test.
How have you felt are you guys still doing standardized testing, Kelsey, or have you guys foregone that for this year?
It is a little bit different for us. My school, they're taking your quarter grades and they're kind of combining it for the fourth semester, so you can have an average for the second semester. So we don't have to take any standardized testings like exams, but if you do want to have a good grade or at least pass for the semester, you still have to put in the work.
Wow. So there you have it, people. There are their views. And let me go back and correct something. I didn't tell y'all what school Kelsey goes to. Kelsey goes to the Houston High School. All right, put some respect on her school name. Trinity goes to the White Station, and Kelsey goes to the Houston High School. And so we talked a lot about sort of education disparities. I know that not all of your friends go to your school, right? Like not all of my friends work at the same place. So do you have you guys have the luxury of having the needs that the at your fingertip technology. Kelsey's mom is an executive in the technology industry. Trinity's mom is an educator, and so we know that she has all the things that she needs at her fingertips. But by and large, your friends do you have any friends that are not in this scenario? And if so, what has this been like for them?
So there's definitely like a digital divide because my school is not like a one-to-one school. So every student does not get a laptop or a tablet or anything of that nature. And so, we've had Microsoft team meetings, and there have been people that haven't been able to log on. So if you're not able to log on to the Microsoft team meeting, you're not going to know, I need to get my ticket for this AP test, or I need to watch this video, or I need to be able to go to my teacher's office hours. So there have been a lot of students, and I've tried to text people, links to be able to click on it on their phone, because for a lot of students, their only interaction with technology might be a cell phone. And so that's definitely an issue right now, like the whole digital divide thing, where some students have 4 laptops at home, and other students, they only have a cell phone, and they might not be able to really connect with their teachers like others.
What about you, Kels?
Predominantly, if I'm correct, a lot of my schools, the students do have access to a laptop because the school provides a laptop. And we haven't had to give up our laptops, so we went home with our laptops.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any friends or cousins that don't have the technology that they need to keep up?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
That's good. That's good. I want to make sure I tell you guys this. So we have Monica that says, congratulations to both of you. Young ladies, I am truly proud of you both. That is so exciting. That happens to be my sissy. So she wanted to let you guys know that she's so proud of you. So Trinity, this is your graduation year. So how could we have handled this differently as adults, the seniors that are graduating this year?
So I've seen a lot of adults try to take initiative and make sure that this time is so special, like the Adopt the Senior initiative and, Save the Prom and parade graduations. But for sure, I think something as simple as just checking on your senior and making sure they're okay. I know I've gotten a lot of that, and that's because I'm just really blessed to have a team around me that does that. But just honestly, if you know a senior, just check on them, a word of, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, you did good, even though you might not, get you might not be able to cross the finish line, you still made it there. So I think just something as simple as that says a lot to a person, to just reach out to them and give them just a few words of wisdom for sure.
Wow. Kelsey, do you have any friends that are graduating this year?
Yes, ma'am, I do. And like Trinity said, I reached out to some of my friends because I don't know what it feels like, but I can imagine what it feels like. And I just wanted to give my regards and just say, hey, like, I'm gonna miss you, and I'm glad that you made it. And even though you're not walking across the stage, you earned it. Like, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is so good. So let's talk about what would you guys, so Trinity, what do you want to do when you grow up?
So when I grow up, I'm majoring in communication. So I'm thinking of broadcast journalism, maybe going to some public relations things, depending on what doors open for me. But that's kind of what I'm looking for. And once I develop my own platform, possibly go beyond that. So in a nutshell, it's kind of what I want to do.
So proud. So if we're going to say hypothetically, if you were already grown up and you were working in PR or communications, broadcast journalism or something, how would you be reporting during this COVID-19? What stories would be important to you?
I think definitely stories of triumph. I feel like sometimes when you turn on the news a lot, you see a lot of things that can possibly, you know, not take away your faith, but sometimes they can lessen how you feel, or the victories, the little victories that you do feel every day. So for sure, you know, every I feel like every channel, they need to put more victories and more triumphs out there. This person, they've survived COVID-19. It is possible. Or this student, you know, they've increased their relationship with their parent because they're at home more now often. So I think I would definitely report more on triumphs than, you know, reporting so much on the heaviness and, you know, the issue so much.
Wow. Kelsey, what do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be a civil rights attorney.
Why?
It's just, I feel like I gotta fight for my people. There's so much racial injustice. It's insane. I mean, like, you can't even run down the street. You can't run. You can't even jog in peace. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like they only arrested the two people because we read about it and we heard about it, not because they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. So, who Kelsey is referring to is Ahmaud Arbery. And if I have mispronounced his name, somebody tell me, because I want to make sure I respect it. Currently, it's his birthday today, correct? Is it his birthday today?
It's on Mother's Day, I believe.
It's on Mother's Day. It's his birthday weekend. And it is a young Black man who was viciously tracked down and murdered by two very eager racists. And they tried to paint a narrative that he was trespassing on property that didn't belong to them. So I can't even begin to rationalize that or conceptualize it. It's, yeah. So that's who Kelsey's referring to. So let's talk about that, because it's a real thing that's happening in the middle of COVID-19. Kelsey, you shared a little bit with us about how you feel about that, and why, actually, you shared with us why you want to be a civil rights attorney. And we're going to come back to that. I'm going to put a pause, because I'm going to ask you the same question that I'm about to ask Trinity. How are you feeling when you see things like what is happening in 2020 with Ahmaud Arbery?
So that's why earlier I said it was so important to know your history. Again, that's why it's so important to know your rights. It's important to know walking down the street or living or existing as a Black and brown person, to know who you are and to know where you've come from. I feel that racism is so real, and people that try to deny it or shoot it down and be like, oh, yes, we are progressing, you know, clap for America. Yeah, we are progressing. That's true. But at the same time, we need to be mindful of what we do need to fix, because progression is going to stop if you're just complacent, you know, with what we have right now. So I think it's really important that even as young people that we're activists, and we make sure that, you know, I think it's so good that we're getting the word out, and that people are participating and trying to really honor his life by truly just speaking on how they feel or their experiences. And I think that's really important for us to understand.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So powerful. Kelsey, how are you feeling about this?
It angers me. It makes me want to go take a stand. It opens up my eyes, because it's just like, this is what's going on this is actually what's going on. How am I supposed to have a son in the future and worry about him when he wants to go on a job? Or, you know, just generations and generations, if we're still going through this. This makes me want to go and vote, this makes me want to take a stand.
Mm-hmm. It's exhausting. You can exhale. It's exhausting for me too. I have a son. Obviously, y'all see I'm Black. I got a son. He's a Black man in America, a Black father, a Black brother, a Black nephew, Black friends. They have Black husbands and Black sons and fathers, and so on and so on. It's something interesting. How do you all feel about the world that we're handing off to you? Trinity, I'll start with you.
Okay. It could be better, but I think if we sit down and have the discussions that we need to have, and if the older generation implements the wisdom that they have to the younger generation, I feel that we can get to a place where we're comfortable. I think as a people, I don't think we've ever just been comfortable. You know, we've always been, okay, it's okay right now, or everything is kind of peaceful right now, it's okay. But I feel that if we sit down, we have these conversations of, you know, we need to support Black businesses. We need to do more to support, you know, our leaders who are higher up, who are Black and brown. I feel that it'll be better in the future. Now, I'm not going to say it'll be the best it's ever been, but we will be in a position where we're comfortable. And I feel that as a people, that's something that we need.
You mentioned that we need to have the conversations. What specific conversations are we? You said supporting Black and brown businesses, supporting Black and brown leaders. What specific conversations do you need us to have with you? And I'll come back with you and you think about that for a second, okay? Kelsey, how do you feel about the world that we're handing off to you?
I don't want to say broken because that's a little dramatic, but
You can say broken if you feel broken.
I mean, it's broken. Like, we need to start having conversations. Like, we need to open our eyes. Why to this day why is a white teacher teaching my Black history? Why do we, it's just mind-boggling to see the things that we see today. You know, everyone is so open to this and these rights, but why are we still fighting for equal rights? Why are people telling me that just because I wasn't picking cotton doesn't mean I'm not affected by the history? Why are we still going through this? We have got to talk about it.
So I want you to think about that too. I want you to think about specifically what conversations as adults do we need to be thoughtful and intentional about having with your generation? And I'll put a pause while you think about it. Feel free to jot the notes down because I'm going to punt back to Trinity. Okay, Trinity, you ready? Tell me what specific conversations. And listen, you guys don't need to spare our feelings. We're going to be big boys and big girls because we have men and women listening because we need to know how we need to do better. Go ahead.
So I think a lot of times adults tell kids, you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. You can do whatever you want when you grow up. You know, you have it inside of you. Yes, that is true. But unlike parents and God's love, the world's love is not unconditional.
Put that in the chat where the world's love is not unconditional.
And so I think if we realize that we have to be 10 times educated, we have to be 10 times ready. We have to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into a room of people that do not look like you, make sure you know your information. Make sure you know what is going on. Make sure you know your facts, because that is how you can get a seat at the table. And you know, it's important to get a seat at the table, but we don't just want to get a seat at the table. We want to make the table for ourselves and give out seats. And so I think it's important that we have these conversations with the younger generation because they're going to be the future movers and shakers. And sometimes I feel like adults are so focused on trying to build the youth up, but give them the tools that they need. Like, don't just encourage them without giving them the blueprint to actually navigate through this world, because navigating through this world as a Black and brown child is different from navigating through this world as a person of European descent.
Wow. It sounds like what I just heard you say was that you need us to tell you the truth. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and stop painting this picture that is just going to be great. Wow. I want to cry so bad. Let me tell you something. You saw me doing this. This is because my friends are texting me saying these young ladies are amazing. They are beautiful and they are so smart and so poised. I want you all to know that. Ooh, I'm trying not to cry. Listen, Lindas. Neither one of y'all Lindas, but you're going to be Lindas right now. Listen, Lindas, I'm about to cry. Go ahead, Kelsey. I saw you jotting down your notes. What conversations specifically do we need to be having with you all?
Well, no one likes a conversation about race. It can get a little tough and it can get a little hard, but we can't shield away from the truth. We can't shield away from what's real. We can't shield away from our actual history. We need to start talking, doesn't matter what race, we need to start talking about what's actually going on. We need to talk about why Ahmaud got shot. We need to talk about why they decided to shoot him. We need to have conversations about this.
Thank you. So honest. So as women, as young women, I know we had a session about leadership. Did you guys listen to that? We had Makita Sargent speak. She's a leader at Nike. And then we had Candace Morgan speak, and she's a leader for Verizon. Did either of you listen to our leadership?
I didn't listen to that one.
That's okay. You listened to the politics. And you heard Senator Katrina Robinson talk to us about being in leadership and being in politics. What about that conversation struck you, particularly about her talking about her plight as a Black person and being the minority in that room?
So I know with the field that I want to go into, I want to be on a screen for everyone to see. And I've talked to different people that are already in the field who are Black women. And I got to know who I am first and what I'm trying to say first before I can lead anyone else. And that was probably the biggest thing I took away. And, I just listened to her story and how she is a Black woman, but she was able to persevere through what she went through, and she was able to do what she needed to do to become who she is today. And I think it's really important for me to understand, as somebody that's going out into the world, soon, that I need to know what I stand for and who I am before I can even tell anyone else what their perspective should be.
Wow. Kelsey, my next question is going to be about what do you all need from us as young ladies? What do you need from us as women? What do you need from us? And so I'll come back to you on that, Trinity. That's how I got into that conversation. But Kelsey, I want you to answer. You listened to Senator Katrina Robinson as well, right? And I can tell that you are very passionate. That's why she wants to be a civil rights attorney. So you guys can understand why this Ahmaud situation really ruffles her feathers, as it should, in mine as well. But that's why you see this visible anger and frustration and passion. And she gets to feel all of that unapologetically. When you listen to Katrina Robinson, Senator Katrina Robinson, talk about her challenges as a senator, being the minority in the room, representing a people that often are represented, what did you hear when you heard her?
I heard, well, like what I said, that's why you need support from people that look like you. Because me being a person of color, I might not always get support for someone else other than my race. I have to make myself known and stand up for my brothers and sisters. That's why I am unapologetically angry about this. I do want to stand up. I want to take a stand because I have to, because we're still fighting.
Wow. Okay. What do you all need from us as women?
We need encouragement. We need to learn our value. We need to learn that we are appreciated. We need to learn that just because, and I hate to bring race into it, but just because the white man thinks he run everything doesn't mean that we're ran by him. We need to learn that we are precious. Like Beyonce said, we are a brown skinned girl, Like we need to know that it's important to being light skinned, to being dark skinned, to being brown skinned, to love yourself, to learn that, take passion in what you do, be unapologetically Black. Excuse me?
Wow. What do you need from us as women, Trinity?
So, like Kelsey said, encouragement. And I feel like more women need to tell their truth. Because if we know, sometimes we see what the pretty gifted box looks like. We see what the finished product looks like. But we need to know that it is possible to make that finished product with all of these things on the box continuously. We need to know that it's possible to be something good and grand and beautiful, even though you have dents. And so I think it's important for more women to encourage, but also encourage with the tools that we need. Like I said, you know, it's different navigating in this world as a Black woman than any other woman. Being a Black woman is such a special thing. And I think if more older women told younger women that being a Black woman is special, so special that you get a chance to navigate it differently than any other woman in the world. And so I think that that's important for us to learn as young people.
Wow. You two have been, I wish I knew another word than amazing. I knew something better than phenomenal. I wish I knew something better than thought-provoking, but I don't. Wow. Okay. You guys have, this conversation has rocked me to my core. Wow. These ladies, this is the type of conversation we're going to have on the Friday night, the weekend of the summit, the passing the torch. This is the kind of conversation, and these young ladies will be there. We know Kelsey will be there, and Trinity has an invitation out. We're not sure with her school schedule if she'll be able to join us, but we certainly hope she will. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for saying yes to this. Thank you. And as we get ready to close, I want to close on a very light note. Trinity is the graduating class of 2020, and I'm getting ready to share my screen with you all. I need you all to pull out your phones, and I need you all to sew into these young ladies. Can you guys see? And it's Trinity, and Kelsey is celebrating her Sweet 16 next weekend. And so I want you guys to sew into both of them. We want to sew a happy Sweet 16 to Kelsey and a happy graduation to Trinity class of 2020. And I want you guys to be generous in your gifts. Do y'all understand me? Generous. Okay? Generous. Can y'all see y'all Cash App stuff up on the screen? Good. They didn't know this was going to happen. So as they are getting their phones out and sewing generously into you all, I want you to tell me who Kelsey is and who Kelsey is not. We talked about this yesterday when we were talking, and who Trinity is and who Trinity is not. Kelsey, who is Kelsey?
I'm uniquely me. That's who I am.
Who is Kelsey not?
I'm not someone that's afraid to be myself.
So good. Trinity, who is Trinity?
Trinity is unapologetically Christian, Black, and loud.
Who is Trinity not?
Trinity is not scared to tell the truth to the people that don't want to hear it.
Wow. So I know it's Mother's Day. Kelsey, what would you like to say to your mom?
She's right here actually.
I know she right there. I met her, okay? Come on camera, Candace. Look, she ain't nowhere. Candace is a good friend of mine, okay? Come on. What would you like? Hi, Candace.
Hi.
Hey, Kelsey, what would you like to say to your mom?
Kelsey's Cash App is wrong, Sherica.
What is Kelsey's Cash App? Stop Cash Apping. Wait a minute. What is it? That's what you sent me?
No.
What is it?
Kelsey, tell them. It is.
Hold on. Stop the Cash Apping.
Is that not it? Hold on.
That's what you sent me?
No, not that. I sent you it's IT, like it's ITZ. There was an additional K put in.
Oh, it's just IT.
It's
ITZ. ITZ.
Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in there. We got to get that right. I'm sorry, y'all. Get y'all money back. My apologies. Hold on.
Yeah, there was an additional K added somewhere.
That's okay. We got it.
ITZ. K-E-L.
I got to fix. I got to fix.
Hold on.
Okay. Is it right now? Do you see it?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It's right now. All right. Hold on. Let me make sure it goes back to that. Hold on. All right, can y'all see it now? Is it right now, Kels, on the screen?
Mhm.
Okay, great. Okay, so it's y'all cash app the right Kelsey. I'm sorry. My apologies. I was early morning typing. But what would you like to say to your mom? Mother's Day is tomorrow, Kelsey. What would you like to say to her?
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you for supporting me.
Absolutely.
Oh, Trinity, what would you like to say to your mom?
I would like to.
Where's Nunu? Because I know she's nearby.
She's in her room listening.
Okay. What would you like to say to your mom?
I'd like to say thank you, and I love you for preparing me for this next 4 years on my own. Whew. And yeah.
Wow. Young ladies, thank you both so very much. I appreciate you. I love each of you in different ways, but no less than the other. And I'm so proud of you. You all make me so proud of what's going to happen in the future. I feel confident that with young ladies like you, there is hope for us. Thank you so much, Kelsey. Thank you so much, Trinity. Happy birthday, Kelsey.
Thank
And
you.
happy graduation, Trinity. Happy graduation. All right, y'all have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you all so much. And this is how we are ending our 11 days, 26 speakers, 22 sessions of the Total Woman Summit Virtual Workshop Series. There was no better way for us to close than with the voices of tomorrow, our next generation, our future leaders. Thank you all. Bye.